Alright, so the game seems to be working fine now. I don't know what the hell made me lag so bad. I had to restart. Okay, so reintroducing our players. Up here in the top left, we have in the green, it is our Terran player, it is Purge. And the bottom right, we have in the purple, it is our Zerg player and organizer of this tournament, Shazam Poof. Hi Igor, hi Mo. Thanks for tuning in. I wasn't there for Minecraft earlier because I was asleep. And then one of my roommates moved out. So I had to go help him clean out his room. Alright. Oh, big... Purge definitely feeling the rust there. Misclicked his workers onto his refinery. He also has that nice StarCraft 1 SCV skin. Looks like he's just going for a standard Reaper expand here. Sorry Mo, you have to be part of All Inspiration to have played in this tournament. These are all these replays are all being casted. So this is currently not live, I guess you could say. Shazam Poof going for a pretty standard build as well here. But of course, we'll have to wait and see how this turns out. I'm not really going to see much from the Zerg at this point unless they decide to go super aggressive. Interesting from Purge that he's choosing to start the factory before the supply depot. I feel like you're going to get a bit supply block there, especially in TVZ. Alright, so first Reaper is heading across the map now. Gonna go see what he can find. Alright, he just decides to send it right past the lanes. He's going right up into the main. I guess really worried about some sort of all-in here. Just wants to see if there's a Roach Warren, I presume, or a Baneley Nest if there were to be one. This Reaper actually might go down here though, if it's not careful. Okay, that Queen wasn't targeted. That one's not moved to the right spot just yet. Will it get it? Oh, it just barely gets it. Alright, and it looks like it's just going to be a standard Hellion opening here. Just waiting a minute. It's really unfortunate that Purge lost to Reaper, because this is going to mean that Shazam just gains map control for this first little bit of the game. And this is going to be pretty scary too for our Terran player. He's even starting a bunker. These lungs are actually going to come in here and stop this SCV from building it. Even going to be able to get that Marine here too. It's going to be a bit for those Hellions to come out, as Purge was a bit delayed there. And with speed, a couple of these SCVs are going to go down, even a freshly dropped Mule. Finally, the Hellions do come out. They don't get to flame any of those Zerglings, unfortunately. Luckily for Purge, though, we don't have an all-in coming up behind us. Shazam Poof actually looks like he's going for 2 base meta, which I think he is pretty known for doing. He's been doing the same build for the entirety of his life. He probably was doing this build in Brood War, and he's just never evolved. Shazam has been the same man since 1995 or whatever. And Purge actually going for mech here. I was on 2 factories. I've seen this build before. I'm not sure how good it is though. I've seen Pult TY actually do this before. Not necessarily a big fan of it. It is like 2 factory openings specifically. Especially like versus this 2 base meta play. I think it's just going to turn out really bad unless Purge gets some Cyclones out very, very quickly. And it doesn't look like that's going to be the case, as Purge has only now just seen that there's no 3rd hatchery. He will be able to get quite a lot of drones here though if he has some good micro. Shazam actually pulling all those drones away, but they're still stacked up. Purge is going to be able to kill quite a lot of these drones here. Unfortunately not clicking on those drones, but he did kill 6, which is pretty good. His SCV count is still fairly low though compared to Shazam Poof's. So this is still pretty a pretty rough spot to be in for Purge. His economy got delayed a bit. A couple of SCVs went down really quickly at the start there. And he's just been on the back foot as far as information goes this whole game. Got another factory coming up here and an eBay. So I think Purge realizes that this is going to be 2 base meta. Even scans for it. And we have the first Metalist coming out here, and we don't even have the first turret started just yet. It's going to be started soon, so I think these turrets will be out just in time for these Metalisks if Purge is very quick on it. But still, no Cyclones being produced, or even Widow Mines. Like, I feel like once Purge kind of realizes that this is the case, he just needs to build a lot of Widow Mines. This move will kind of save Purge for now. Because it will force Shazam to keep these Metallists over here to defend the Hellions. Because I don't think Shazam has, he has 5 Queens. That's not really enough to deal with those Hellions if they're taking a bit of damage. So now Shazam is going to head across the map and try to do some damage. Purge has put a lot of money into his turrets. He's going to be pretty well defended, but that's a lot of Banelings actually. I think Shazam is just going to burst down this wall, and I don't really blame him for going for this. He's killed quite a lot of Purge's units. It's not even going to need the Banelings and just destroy everything in the wall with the Metalisks. We do have a siege tank on its way out, but I don't think that's going to be ready in time. It's a lot of Banelings. Speed is halfway done, so not really going to be a factor in this fight, I don't think, unless Shazam waits for it. +1 is on the way as well. Hellions go out to try to face these Banelings, and they will target them all down. Purge is now supply blocked, pretty unfortunate for him. Now we have a huge swell of Lynx coming in here with some Banelings, and at the very least, I think these Banelings will be able to get quite a lot of worker kills. And at this point in the game, I feel like Purge has just lost any shot here, unless Shazam into all of his Metalisks for some reason. Purge will be able to hold on to the high ground, but we do have a 3rd base here for Shazam Poof. We see Lings coming behind this. I feel like Shazam should just drone up a bit. He's getting a couple of it. And these 5 Metalisks are really just gaining quite a lot of value. Just going to continue to pick off anything that's not protected by missile turrets. No, Shazam not paying attention. Gonna lose a couple of these Metalisks. But finally, we do have a couple 4s out. So this will be the end of this, I believe. I don't think this is enough Zerglings to kill both these 4s and the siege tank. Maybe if Shazam just like keeps running singular Lings in to get killed by the tank splash. I don't know. Oh, Banelings. Oh my god, all the SCVs are trapping this. I will kill all the LCVs, but actually won't do a whole lot of damage to the 4. And all this damage has just been so disruptive. Purge's economy is in ruins. He's been so focused trying to defend against these Mutalisks that he hasn't been producing SCVs as much as I think he would want to be. His SCV production is going to be constant from now on, but he's down about 25 workers, and that's really not where you want to be. Now Shazam's getting roaches behind us as well, so he does see his mech, and wants a bit more of a hardy defense versus these mech units. And Purge doesn't even have a third CC behind this, so this is going to be very hard for him to come back from. Shazam continuing to build Mutalisks despite the fact that there's 4s out, so I guess he's really not scared. Of course, even with the 4s out, you can get some damage done with the Mutalisks. He's got to find the right place. Can fly in, maybe pick off a turret or two, force some more to be built. And with the economy that Purge has, that's really not what he wants to be doing. So actually going to lose one turret and one Mutalisk for that, which is not horrible. Obviously you don't want to lose any of your Mutalisks, but I feel like Shazam's in a good enough place that he could recover from losing that one. So backing off just in time, as there's 3 4s out now. Look at there, no. So these Metas are just gonna stick camped out here and just keep picking off random crap whenever they feel like it. Purge is keeping one of the 4s up in the main base, actually picking off a couple of Metas there. Oops. And Shazam's actually throwing away quite a lot of his Mutalisks. Army supply is very telling in this game. You have third CC finally finishing for Purge, so that means he will be able to expand to a new base very shortly. But Shazam's economy just exploded. He's even getting up to an infestation pit, so we'll probably see a hive soon. Maybe some broodlords. It's a lot of roaches. So Purge is really hesitant to move out, and I don't really blame him. These Mutalisks have been quite a pain in his ass. We'll finally move out to take his third base now. Slow and steady wins the race. But unfortunately these Mutalisks do not agree with that. They will come in here into the main and pick off a couple of add-ons here in the turret. Meanwhile, we will have some roaches going in towards the third base. I think he's just going to sack all the... oh, never mind. Or perhaps? I'm not sure. A couple of locusts diving on top of a couple 4s here. Meanwhile, we do have the roaches coming in here towards the third base, going to trade with this army here. And looks like that's going to be it. GG's going to be called. And Shazam will finally take game number 1 here versus Purge. Alright. So, our winner of the last match. And at the bottom right, we have in the purple, it is Shazam Poof. And up in the top of the left, we have in the green, doing some sort of proxy, it is Purge. So this is going to be a 3 barracks proxy. I feel like he said... I'm not sure why he sent all the SCBs out immediately. He's not going to have enough resources for it. So just maybe not want to get scouted. Oh well. I guess it's better to get them up as quick as possible instead of like having to wait until they get there if you time it wrong. So we don't see Shazam actually sending his Overlord out to scout for proxies, so I guess he's just really not worried about it. We'll have to see how the micro here ends up. He does have his Overlord in a good spot. Of course, we will see the SCV coming up to build that bunker, and First Marine is on the way. Spawning pool's not even done yet, so this means he's going to have to pull drones if he wants to hold this off. So, well done from Purge. Or well timed, rather. First Marine is going to come out here. He's going to have some good micro if he wants to fight versus all these drones. Shazam having a very good response. Doesn't want to get that Marine surrounded. He needs to keep pulling that back. Another Marine's going to come up here. They can kill a couple of these drones. So now got 4. Do we have another SCV? Yeah, there's one up here. He can keep finishing that. Spawn crawler is on the way, but we do have some lings out here. Not pulling those Marines back. They're taking quite a bit of damage. But that's quite a lot of lings. And they will finally kill that bunker. I don't even think that was a cancel. So I think these lings should be able to fight. Oh, they can't fight off creep though. Marines are going to come up. They really need to stop that spawn crawler from finishing. Purge actually going quite a bit onto creep here. He will kill that spawn crawler and kill a couple of these lings, but he will end up losing all of his Marines. More Marines are being rallied out here though, and I'm not sure if this is going to be enough though from Purge. I feel like throwing those Marines away for that spawn crawler kill was not really worth it in the end. Getting into a good spot though. It's continuing to produce Marines. Don't see any gases going up back at home, so this is pretty committed. Do have another spawn coming up here. And at this point, I feel like Shazam has held this fairly well. He lost quite a bit of drones, though. And he's continuing to be producing lings, but he does get an amazing surround. Purge just stepping a bit too far in the creep, and that's going to be it. Shazam is going to move on from this group, and he's going to face his next opponent. And I believe his opponent got a bye in the... Yeah, so Lightning got a bye in the first round of this group. So now we're going to be moving on to Lightning versus Shazam. All right. So, spawning into our winner's match here of this group. In the purple, we have Shazam Poof. And our protoss player in the orange, we have Lightning. So we got a hatch first coming out here from a, I'm not sure what we have coming out yet here for Lightning. Just a gateway so far, and a gas. Yeah, so it looks like it's just going to be gate nexus here from Lightning. And we're even going to see a 3 hatch here from Shazam. Not particularly common in this meta. Ooh. It's a bit greedy. I'm not even sure if Shazam even scouted Lightning, actually. So, this is very greedy. But it doesn't look like he's going to take too much damage from this, as we don't see, like, we didn't see a gauge cyber. So it's going to be a bit before Zenith can come out. And Lightning has probe scouted, so he will see everything that's going on. So he can choose to do something to try to punish Shazam for this 3 hatch play. And it looks like he will try to, as he is getting an adept. I think normally in the matchup you will more often see a stalker at first. But I think this is a response specifically to the 3 hatch play here. Especially the chronoing of this adept. I think maybe if he was going for an adept normally, he just gets it out, you know, at a average pace and continues to chrono his nexus. Or save the chronos for something later, but he will send this out as quickly as he can. Trying to find a spot here where he can find a couple of drone kills as his opponent. His pool was pretty delayed, so this means the queens and the drones are going to take quite a bit to come out. You're going to be able to pick off a larva here, which is pretty nice. And killing the larva is basically like killing the unit. The first adept is going to be able to get a couple of drone kills here. Shazam not being able to building cancel these drones here. He will get this adept. But 2 drone kills is okay. Got 2 drone kills, and he also killed 2 larvae, which means 2 potential drones. Meanwhile, back at home, we have Lightning. His probe count is pretty healthy. It's actually a bit supply blocked here. And we've just seen a couple of mortals being produced here from Lightning, so nothing too aggressive just yet. Forge and Twilight Council on the way. And we do see a Roach Warren here with a layer from Shazam Poof. It's actually getting Roach speed as well. And we see a Dark Shrine here coming out of Lightning, so this means it's going to be the Dark Templar drop build or Archon drop, whatever he chooses. And actually getting charge of this as well. So this could be a, oh, this might be double Prism eventually? I'm not sure. I believe this is going to turn into an all-in. Once he gets charged and +1, I think he's just going to warp in a lot of Zealots here to aid this attack. And Shazam's roaches are actually going across the map right now. Phoenix coming in here. A couple of emeralds dropping down. They will see that there's no drones at the third base here, so that's a pretty big tell that something aggressive is going on here. And Dark Templars should be warped in at home defensively to try to hold this off. We don't see any overseers with this, which is going to be pretty problematic here for Shazam. He actually skipped Zergling speed entirely, so these roaches are just going to get microed to quite a large extent here. We'll pick off the Cybercore, but really not the biggest of deals here for Lightning. I feel like he doesn't really need the Cybercore anymore. Going to pick off that pylon. It's going to depower a couple of the gateways here. Corrosive Bowels going down, hitting a couple of these units, and that's quite a lot of roaches there. A couple Dark Templars are going to get warped in here. He really needs that Overlord to be turned into an Overseer if he wants to fight this. I don't think he's aware, though, that the Dark Templars are on the field. He should be now, as they are working their way through these Ravagers. Those Dark Templars are just going to be able to completely hold this off. They did quite a lot of damage here. That's killed quite a huge amount of roaches. So finally we do have some detection out, which means he will be able to kill these Dark Templars. Really nice Archon morph there. It's able to tank quite a lot of damage with those Templars. And I don't think this is the end here for Shazam Poof. He's just going to continue up here, trying to do as much damage as he can. But I think with the reinforcements here from Lightning that he should be able to hold on versus this. He killed an insane amount of roaches with that initial defense. And still Lings to reinforce this is not ideal whatsoever. Just more and more units on the production tab for Shazam Poof. I think he's going to try to wait for a bit of a overwhelming number. Oh, that Archon is actually going to do so much work too. Archons versus Slowlings are not fun for the... And 3 more Archons coming up. This is a lot of really powerful units here from Lightning, and I think he should be able to hold on here. The Archons can tank an incredible amount of damage too, and heal most of it back fairly quickly. Unfortunately, not able to get that Archon. 7 HP. Very clutch hold from Lightning. And I think we're just going to have to wait here for Shazam to realize the spot he's in and GG. It's really immaculate hold there. $15 roaches on a production tab. Don't think that's going to be enough. So we've got 5 Immortals here from Lightning. It's going to be more than enough to punch for this pure Roach army here. And +1 armor upgrades as well is, I think, going to do very well for Lightning. He's going to be able to tank a couple more shots from the Roaches from with each unit. It's getting a 4th base behind us as well, getting Storm, Blink, all that good shit. But Shazam has been able to produce quite a lot of roaches. So, you know, maybe a lucky move command here. And suddenly, lightning could be gone. It's kind of a 4th hatchery. I think that's purely for the larva. Or not. Shazam has quite a lot of larva. Really needs to spend some of that. So he's going to try to drone up a bit here while he's being defensive with his roaches. Oh, a couple of these units actually get caught and they hear A moves, so they're fighting a bit by themselves. Got units up here in the main, a lot of zealots being warped in here. And I don't think Shazam can really defend this this army. He's lost almost all of his economy as well. Yeah. Tough decisions here from Shazam on where to defend. But it looks like this should be it. GG is going to be called. Oops. And Lightning's going to take game number 1. One more match and Lightning will advance into the main tournament. Alright. So we have our purple Zerg player in the top left. It is Shazam Poof. Currently down 1-0 in this winner's match. And in the bottom right, we have in the orange, our Provost player Lightning. Just one more match to head on to the main tournament. Oops. I'm not exactly sure what I hit to bring that up, but whatever. I fat-fingered something. Very quick drone scout here from Lightning. I guess he probably just wants to see what Shazam is going to be doing, as he did go for a 3 hatch in the last game, and I guess Lightning really just doesn't want to fuck with that. He's going to go spawning pool first. Shazam pulling quite a bit of drones off the line to chip away at this. I feel like he just needs to go build a hatch somewhere else. Oh no. Yeah, Shazam really just needs to build his 3rd hatch down here. Or rather his 2nd hatch where his 3rd would be. He's using so much time here. So we do have our first Zerglings here, and they will be able to clean this up finally. And Shazam almost at 600 minerals here. So I think this part of the game, he's really he's just off his game at this point. Wow, thanks for. I appreciate the bits. Yeah, and I can see how people would confuse us. We're both very similar. First 2 depths are coming out here, and Shazam's hatchery has been delayed for so long that I think he's just going to... Like everything's just so far behind where it's supposed to be that I think he's just going to die here. These 2 depths are basically unchallenged, with only this queen here to defend. And they're going to get quite a lot of drones here. These 2 adepts are even going to escape with their lives. I guess those Zerglings across the map got a pylon or something? I wasn't paying attention. Maybe they got a couple of probes, I'm not sure. Oh, they actually got 5 probes. So, that's still not enough to justify the massive drone damage taken, but 9 drones at this part of the game. Yakurino. Very not cool. And, yeah, I think if you're Shazam Poof, like, at this point of the game, this is where you just throw down the fuck it mainly nest. And, you just YOLO. I just... droning up from this point is so tough. And I think that's what Lightning expects here too, as he has 3 shield batteries. And we're actually seeing a Spire. You know what? I think this could actually work. He's gonna need a lot more gas though. Like, he really needs both his natural. Or can't even afford. What is this income like? Yeah, I think he needs at least 1 more of his natural gas if he wants to build like any substantial amount of Beetlisks here. So he can produce like 4 Beetlisks. Sorry, I thought he'd have a bit more gas once this finished, but and that Phoenix Scout could actually end the game even more. And he's actually going for 2 base Corruptor. Okay, what? How much gas do Corruptors even cost? That Phoenix Scout will come in and it will see the Spire at least. So obviously I think Lightning is going to presume that it's going to be Beetlisks. Because that's normally the reasonable choice here. A couple of Adepts coming in here, and Shazam actually has literally no units on the ground here to fight this. Only now just starting some links. I think 1 drone went down. And those Adepts will get into the main base here. And those will start getting to town. Or going to town, rather, on all these drones. 7 more have gone down. Meanwhile, where are those Corruptors? There is Stalkers there, and he does have shield batteries, so he can repair or heal the shields on his Nexus. Where's the rest of his Corruptors? Yeah, unfortunately 2 Corruptors are really not going to cut it here. Yeah, and there's a lot more shield battery energy here to work with as well. So Shazam Poof's Gambit has not paid off. His drone count is really, really low. And his tech is very, very far behind. I do not feel very hopeful for the future of Shazam in this match. But you know what? That's a lot of Banelings. 20 Banelings can bring a man a lot of hope. And if no, Lightning is paying attention, I was gonna say, slow Banes are not very hopeful, and I don't think Shazam is going to be able to come back here. Wait, what is the Artosis quote? Is that okay? He's gonna try dropping everything in. I'd love to see him just go full rogue and Banelane drop on the army. Yeah, that's a lot of Banelings, Tasteless. Wow, those Banelings are doing a lot of damage, Tasteless. I'm just like Artosis. And even though these Banelings have actually gotten like way too much damage than they ever should have done, it's still not going to be enough here. And these Dropper Lords sit, no passengers to board them. I feel like Lightning is very confused this game. Alright, so now he's going to send his Dropper Lords in here with some Zerglings. This is going to be pretty annoying, but there is shield batteries and a cannon actually in the main and the natural. So that's actually going to be quite annoying for Shazam to actually try to get any damage on. Banelings do come out and actually explode on a lot of things, but most of the things that are exploded on are Archons, and those are not good things to explode on. Zerglings are in the main base, and it looks like they will kill a shield battery and a couple probes, but that's going to be it. Lightning's going to advance on into the main tournament. And now we're going to have to go back into a rematch, actually. So Purge and Shazampoof are going to play for that last spot in the group. Funnily enough, they had the same map picks. Alright. So, spawning up here in the top of the left, we have our loser of the last series, actually. It is Shazampoof. But, you know who he didn't lose to? Is this guy in the bottom right, our Green Terran Purge. They fought against each other in the first match of our group today. And Shazam did defeat him 2-0. But now they're back here in the elimination match. See who will move on. And Purge actually going for a gas first this time. Purge is normally a pretty big fan of these like 2-base builds, especially like mech builds. So I wouldn't be too surprised to see some early factory out of him this game. So it looks like it's just going to be a Reaper expand here. But going for the gas first instead. Which is really like, I don't know, it's not that big a deal. Personally, I'm not a big fan of it in TVZ. But there can be builds that maybe you would prefer the gas first. Especially since Purge likes to go for his factory before he goes for the depot. And that makes sense when you go gas first. Especially going for the reactor immediately. So he's going to keep the Reaper at home, actually. Okay. So, yeah, normally when you get the Reaper, like, obviously you want to send it across the map if you can. But, normally get a Marine behind that to be safe. I'm not sure if Purge SCV scouted. No, he did not. So it's actually very dangerous here for Purge to be playing like this. But sometimes you can take a small gamble like this and it will help you a bit. Because that early Marine really, like, it's a safety measure, but you don't necessarily need it. So that that fifth-year minor rolls can be invested somewhere else. Like your command center will be slightly faster. Your Hellions will be a bit quicker. This can be small edges like this that help out in the end. And he actually lost the Reaper here too. He has a pretty bad habit of doing this. He sends it right up into the main, but he tries to get a view of the natural as well. Normally, like, you have to be very conservative with the Reaper if you want to maintain that presence with it. You know, if you check the main, you only check the main, then you back off. You heal up, and then you check the natural. Like, if you try to check everything at once, you're just taking on too many things at once, and you're going to lose the Reaper. And he's actually going for, looks like some sort of 3-rack stim timing here. So let's see. So he has 4 Hellions out. He's getting a 5th one. I'm not sure if that's a mistake or not. There is a build here that you go for that's similar to this, except you would get a tank with this. This could be like a stim Hellbat timing. I don't see an armory just yet, though. And of course, there's about 20 seconds of leeway here for Purge with this build. And he actually, so by killing all those links, he's actually kind of kept scouting to a minimum here. If Shazam had seen the wall and seen that there was no third CC a bit earlier, I think he'd be a bit more suspicious about what might be going on here. He's getting about 6 roaches, probably to deal with the Hellions. So even getting at roach speed, this actually could be a timing attack from Shazam's part. So I'm interested to see what Purge actually ends up going for here. He hasn't been constantly producing Marines out of his barracks, nor Widow Mines out of the factory. So if he is going for a timing here, which I believe he is going to hit a bit weak. Really just needs to step on that macro pedal and just keep everything flowing. His next barracks will finish. We do have 1 medevac out now. Oh, he's supply block too. Yeah, it's a bit unfortunate. His STV count is very low. But I suspect he is trying to go for a timing this game. These Hellions are actually going to be able to kill quite a lot of drones here in the natural. It might make the worker count a bit closer. 11 workers going down so far, and even more to come. No, Shazam actually pulling the workers off the line to fight. That's really not bueno. Okay. All in all, 23 workers gone down. That's actually amazing for Purge in this game. If Purge just keeps producing SCVs at this point, I think he can be in a pretty good spot. Of course, Shazam will continue to re-drone here, as he did pump out 60 more drones as soon as those died. But that, you know, theoretically at this point in time, Shazam could have been at close to 60 workers. Do see an eBay going down here. So I think once these couple medevacs get out, we might see Purge decide to go for something. Thank you for monitoring the chat. Brave moderator. So this is a pretty sizable army. Of course it is versus roaches, but there's not a whole lot of roaches out actually right now. Shazam's been fairly greedy in his attempt to make up for the lost damage. Widow Mines, of course, are not particularly good versus roaches. We'll see a lot of the Ravagers out here. So I think he knows it's just going to be Roach Ravager here from Shazam. He's wasting quite a lot of time actually though. I feel like this is a period of time where like he sees that it's Roach Ravager. I think he needs to just drop and just find some damage where he can. Because the more roaches Shazam gets out, the better chance he's going to have at holding on to this. Or holding on versus any drop play here. And when your opponent's going for a Roach Ravager, like, you kind of need to drop to stop them from macroing as well as they want. Because your opponent can max out very quickly on roaches. And that's really not something you want to have to deal with. Oh god, a lot of these Marines getting taken out by these biles. Betrayal on the medevac from that Widowmine too. Purge has lost an incredible amount of army supply from that. Like, he traded, you know, he killed like 3 roaches and a Ravager for 5 mines, 2 Marauders, with 6 Marines. Oops. Bit of an unfortunate micro mistake there. Purge does have the 3rd CC here, so he can still, I think, come back into this game if he gets some good damage done. But my main issue here is that Purge has been on one factory, and that factory has been producing Widowmines. Now, Widowmines are obviously great versus Ling Mutabane, or just like Ling Bane, whatever. But when you're playing versus someone who's going Roach Ravager, you really need siege tanks out. Like, if you're not producing siege tanks off of at least one factory, you're probably going to end up losing the game, because maxed out roaches will be able to overpower a smaller bio army very quickly, or especially Roach Hydra, as we see here. So you really need the defensive power of those tanks in order to hold on versus any type of Roach Ravager play, or Roach Hydra play, sorry. And just without that additional production off of 2 factories from Purge, we're seeing quite a lackluster armory, I would say. Looks like Purge is going to try to go for a drop here eventually. He has a decent amount of his bio over here, but I don't think this bio force is going to be able to hold on versus this army from Shazam Poof. A couple Liberators out now. Now, Liberators can be a good response to really any Zerg-based army. Like, they're always pretty efficient, but there's just not going to be enough out here to deal with the Ravagers and Hydras that we have out currently. And a bit of a just fairly late production as well here from Purge. 3rd CC even goes down. Yeah, especially when you're playing bio, like, you really need to make sure your production's on time. If it's not, all your timings are just so ineffectual. Now, Liberator will try its best to hold on here with this bio, but it looks like he should go down here. Yeah, GG's called. And Shazam Poof going to take game number 1. Alright. So, our winner of the last game. Up here in the top of the left, we have our Zerg player. It is Shazam Poof. And our player in the bottom left. He is in threat of being eliminated in this match. Our Green Terran player. It is Purge. Purge also has this habit, I find, of like, he has like a whole bunch of different builds. And I feel like having the amount of builds that Purge plays is actually a detriment to him. And the amount of styles as well. Like, he plays mech and bio. And I feel like he would do much better if he just like focused on one style or at least one, or at least a couple of builds for each style. You know, like maybe play one mech build and one bio build, and then get really good at that. And I feel like that increases chances here. Or just like 3x every game. That could be good too. But this game looks like it's going to be pretty standard. Just a Reaper fast expand here. But over on the other side, we do have a pretty quick pool here from Shazam. I didn't catch actually the timing of the pool. But these two lings should be going around trying to kill the SCV building building the command center. He also could have been preempting a proxy barracks build here. Luckily for Purge, though, he has kept his Reaper at home. Normally Terran players will just send it out immediately. But he will see these Zerglings, and he will be able to hold on versus this if he just continues to micro. He might need to cancel micro that SCV a couple times. No, he will lose the one, but luckily he does have another backup SCV here. And the Ripper will kill all the Zerglings. It's really not that big a deal though for Shazam. That's not a big committal. But looks like this next move of 8 Zerglings will be. It's getting Zergling speed up pretty quickly. So it looks like Shazam is going to try to end this game out fairly early here. Or at least put a lot of pressure on Purge. And this can be very good, especially if you consider yourself to be a better player than your opponent. If you put on a lot of pressure, you're going to force out a lot of mistakes. And I think that's something that Purge can be prone to when he's playing versus someone like Shazam. These Zerglings will run over here. And wall off is not done at the natural, so this means that these Zerglings can get to work. Pick off that Marine. And they can probably... No, I don't think they'll be able to get inside. The Marine will be out in time if Purge... That rally actually might be bad. No, it's going to be fine. So he will have enough Marines here to hold this off. He might end up having to cancel that barracks. No. Luckily, these two SCVs are tucked away here in the corner. He will lose a couple supply depots, which is pretty big, actually. It's not going to supply block him or anything, but there's a lot of money invested this early in the game. And he actually lifts the wall up for a bit there, and some Zerglings flood in. And he's actually going for a I can't believe I didn't notice this sooner. 5x stim timing here. And versus a two hatch meta here from Shazam. I believe this is going to be 2 hatch meta. We'll see when the spire or layer is done if he goes for a spire immediately. Yeah, there you go. This can actually be a pretty strong counter to this. He's going to need to strike very quickly, though. Like, this can be strong in the sense that if it hits before the mutas get out, then it can be a very strong, just straight up counter, because Shazam will just not have enough units out to deal with it. And he can just straight up die. Like, if he headed across the map right now, he could actually win the game. We see 4 lings here. Like, Shazam is saving up all of his money for Mutilas. If those Mutilas do get out, then Purge will have a bit of a tough time. And he is actually heading across the map now, and that's a lot of Marines. Combat Shield is almost finished. 22 lings are on the way, though. Luckily for Shazam, he did have some scouting lings. the timing of when Purge stims is, I think, going to be the deciding factor in this game. A lot of Terran players will just stim immediately, but you can only stim once or twice here, realistically. So he will stim this, and he will be able to kill quite a lot of the links here. He's going to need to go right up in here. He needs to target down those Banes if he can. And really nice, was really nice target fire, but unfortunately he moves the Marines back, and they do get hit by all these Banelings. And very clutch hold here from Shazam. Those couple of Baneling hits just kept him alive for that fight. He would have lost quite a lot of drones if those Banelings had been targeted down. And now Shazam, he has enough money here. He can produce Meadows if he likes. I don't... Wait, did he cancel the Spire? Oh no, it's just right over here. And just at this point in the game, like, Purge lost so many Marines with that attack, and that's a very dedicated attack. Like, you need to keep those Marines alive as long as you can, or trade them out. Amazing, like, incredibly cost efficiently, which he was unable to do, unfortunately. He's gonna try to come in here, but there's just too many units out here for him to deal with, really. And GG is going to be called. And looks like that'll be it for our group today. Shazam and Lightning have moved on to the full tournament. Alright. I'd love to cast some more games, but unfortunately I have to go to my parents tonight. So I will try to stream some more games tonight. We'll try to get into Group B, where we got Daedra, Oopsie, and Ultralisk. Or wait, I don't think they've actually played their last map. So I might actually just skip to Group C. But anyways, thanks for tuning in, everyone who did. And that's going to be it for me for this afternoon. I might see you tonight.